All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're talking about a massive shift today. The exact moment a man drops that exhausting, never-ending need for external approval. It's a need that silently dictates the lives of so many guys out there without them even realizing it. But what happens when you just stop? Today, we're unpacking the psychology and philosophy behind this absolute game-changer of a mindset shift. We're going to look at the nuts and bolts of building real internal fortitude, borrowing from ancient Stoic principles and modern psychology. As you'll see, a life driven by your own internal standards will absolutely outpace a life driven by the crowd.
So, what actually happens when you stop needing a pat on the back? We're exploring that very second the performance stops, the over-explaining completely ends, and a totally new life trajectory takes off. I mean, think about your average day for a second. How many of your choices, your texts, or even your hobbies are subtly designed just to get a nod of approval from someone else? When a guy finally unplugs from that matrix of validation, his whole reality flips. No more chasing acceptance. Instead, he gets clarity, total control, and this really specific type of quiet confidence that, honestly, most men never reach. And trust me, it shows.
The contrast here is kind of wild, right? It's literally the chaos of living for others versus the unshakable peace of having your own internal standards. Look at the validation seeker. It's just constant anxiety. When you need people to like you, you're always over-explaining yourself, and honestly, you become incredibly easy to manipulate. But then you have the free man. When you ditch the need for approval, you step into real emotional control. You become fundamentally unbothered. It's exactly the difference between being a leaf blown around by public opinion and being a deeply rooted tree.
Let's move right into phase 1, breaking the performance trap.
Before you can even think about building internal strength, you gotta stop leaking all your energy outwardly. So, first things first, he just stops explaining himself to everyone. You know how much energy we waste justifying every little move? Well, that ends here. If people get his path, awesome. If they don't, he just keeps moving. He makes decisions based on his actual direction, not committee opinions. Plus, he completely stops chasing attention, especially from women. He gets that attention is actually super cheap, but real respect, that has to be earned. So he flips his focus from trying to impress people to actually becoming someone of substance.
That brings us to phase 2, forging internal fortitude. Here is where we hit a really powerful Stoic concept, the internal locus of control. Basically, when you truly believe your value is dictated by your own actions, external emotional control just stops working on you completely. Think about it. When you don't need someone's approval, their attempts to use guilt or peer pressure against you suddenly hit a brick wall. You literally become immune to the very tools most people use to control each other. This isn't about acting tough, it's about fundamentally rewiring how you process the world.
And the result? Guilt and pressure lose all their power. You can finally just say no, without that agonizing spiral of overthinking or feeling bad. You just say no and walk away. Plus, you finally get off the emotional roller coaster. Someone praises you? Cool, but it doesn't give you a massive ego trip. Someone criticizes you? It doesn't break you. You're operating purely on your own internal standards now. If you know you did the right thing based on your own metrics, the external reaction is literally just background noise.
Let's look at phase 3, the power of silence.
I absolutely love this quote. He understands that talking creates a false sense of progress. So instead of speaking, he builds. Psychology completely backs this up, by the way. When you announce a goal, your brain gives you this premature hit of dopamine. It makes you feel like you've already achieved the thing, which ironically kills your motivation to do the actual work. A man who doesn't need validation doesn't announce his plans just to get early applause. He just executes. And he completely accepts that his silent growth might look really weird to people who aren't on his level.
All right, phase 4, reclaiming time.
Check out this massive shift in how you allocate your energy. When validation isn't the goal anymore, entertaining every single invite or pointless conversation loses all its appeal. Look at that chunk, 85% dedicated to pure execution and selective focus. He becomes fiercely protective of his boundaries because he knows every yes has a heavy cost. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you're literally saying no to your own progress. When you stop trying to please everyone, It's amazing how fast your schedule opens up.
Which leads into phase 5, the new reality of quiet confidence.
When you strip away the need for acceptance, what's left is pure, unfiltered execution. Real confidence isn't loud, and it sure isn't performative. It's built entirely by keeping the promises you make to yourself. When you do that consistently, you become dangerous in the absolute best way possible. You get focused, disciplined, and totally unbothered by the noise. Removing the need for validation essentially removes your biggest weakness. You stop living just to fit into someone else's puzzle, and you start building something that actually matters to you.
Finally, phase 6, daily rituals for self-mastery.
Look, philosophy is great, but without action, it's just daydreaming. So here are 3 practical Stoic exercises to build your fortress against social pressure. First, the no-explain rule. Next time you decline an invite, just say, "I can't make it," and stop talking. Notice how weird it feels to not offer a long excuse? That's the validation habit breaking. Second, the silence challenge. Pick a goal and for 30 days tell absolutely no one. Starve yourself of early praise and run entirely on your own discipline. And lastly, the internal audit. End your day by judging your actions against your own moral compass, ignoring whether people clapped for you or complained.
So, this is the ultimate takeaway from our explainer today. Dropping the need for approval is the exact moment your real life begins. It's the dividing line between being a side character in someone else's story and being the author of your own. Yeah, it takes immense courage to let go of the crowd's applause, but the absolute freedom you get in return, totally worth it. I want to leave you with a question to really chew on today. Will you continue performing for the crowd, draining your energy just to maintain a facade? Or are you ready to step back, embrace the quiet, and finally build in silence? Think deeply about that, and imagine what you could actually achieve when you finally stop caring what they think.